The pious facade you've been taught to revere is actually a cage designed to suppress the very passion that makes faith alive. And true devotion requires not denying your darkness, but integrating it into a love that honors both spirit and flesh. In Missionary with a Menace, Bonnie Blanco delivers an unhinged arranged marriage romance that transforms the religious taboo trope into a searing exploration of sacred sexuality and female reclamation, proving that in communities where purity is performance, holiness isn't found in denial, it's forged in the radical act of claiming desire as divine. This isn't merely another forbidden love tale with steamy encounters. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every vow feels like both sacrament and subversion. Consent is negotiated through mutual recognition rather than assumed obedience, and healing means honoring the woman beneath the doctrine when tradition demands she remain invisible. From the first hymn-laced narration, listeners are immersed in a world where scripture is syntax and presence is the only true prayer. Perfect for fans of morally complex dark romance and stories where female agency defies patriarchal theology, this audiobook serves up atmospheric reverence, relentless emotional honesty, and protagonists whose journey from contractual strangers to sovereign partners resonates with anyone who's ever been told their hunger was sinful. When devout missionary Alara Vance agrees to marry fellow servant Julian Thorne to secure funding for her orphanage, she expects spiritual partnership, not to discover his quiet intensity mirrors the suppressed longing she spent years editing out of righteous service, and his refusal to treat her as a vessel creates space for a bond that defies ecclesiastical hierarchy. But as they navigate congregational scrutiny and buried attractions, Alara realizes this union isn't about duty, it's about integration. Blanco masterfully avoids reducing Alara to naive believer or Julian to predatory cleric. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical reciprocity within constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries even as desire blurs them, and where intimacy emerges from seeing each other beyond roles. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional alchemy, capturing Alara's disciplined composure softening into genuine receptivity, and Julian's guarded authority revealing warmth beneath stoic vigilance. You don't just hear their bond deepen, you feel the seismic shift of two souls learning that some vows can only be kept when you stop reciting them by rote. What elevates Missionary with a Menace beyond typical religious romance fare is its nuanced portrayal of faith as embodied practice rather than abstract dogma. Alara isn't merely accepting love, she's confronting how purity culture taught her to equate worth with self-effacement, challenging the notion that holiness requires erasure of self. Julian doesn't corrupt her through temptation, he creates sanctuary where her complexity can exist without judgment, honoring her autonomy even as his own walls crumble. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during evening prayers that bypass performance, establishing rhythms that protect both spiritual integrity and emotional safety, and defending each other from elders who mistake evolution for heresy. Supporting characters add vital texture, fellow missionaries whose zeal encodes suppressed grief, congregants whose loyalty carries intergenerational weight, even the mission house itself, rendered as living archive whose wooden floors absorb decades of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In systems built on suppression, tenderness is technique, and presence is the only true sacrament. Even the romance mechanics serve thematic depth, with shared scriptures mirroring emotional attunement and marital rites becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into sacred intimacy. The narrator embodies Alara and Julian with remarkable distinction. Alara's voice carries weathered intelligence laced with dawning sovereignty, while Julian's low timbre trembles with suppressed devotion beneath disciplined cadence, making their chemistry palpable even during conflict. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion. Distant choir notes marking temporal rhythm, rain against stained glass during vulnerable confessions, the hushed rustle of fabric syncing with breath during moments of revelation, all anchor mythic stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of spiritual awakening, deliberate during reflection and foundational bonding, then surging with urgency as external pressures collide with internal transformations. Whether you're commuting through secular routines or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and embodiment feels a lifeline. Its storytelling is somatic validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a love story that honors both faith and flesh. Ultimately, Missionary with a Menace redefines religious romance by centering female epistemology within theological frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for intense chemistry and high-stakes tension, while delivering substantive commentary on purity culture, masculine vulnerability, and the radical act of building partnerships based on mutual recognition rather than domination. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether devotion can coexist with desire, or if true strength requires embracing what others fear, This audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply allowing yourself to want. Press play, open the scripture, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by dogma, hearts still find ways to worship. Your next favorite dark romance isn't waiting in perfect piety. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to claim your whole self as sacred.